Student loan forgiveness, it's well underway. 153,000 borrowers had their student loan debts erased after receiving an email yesterday. Those borrowers were enrolled in the SAVE plan. They made at least 10 years of payments and they borrowed $12,000 or less. Now, this round of student loan forgiveness is $1.2 billion. Here today to talk about student loan forgiveness and student loans really in general is Betsy Mayotte. She is the founder and president of the Institute of Student Loan Advisors, known as TISLA. So if you do have questions about student loans, you want to text them right now, 336-379-5775. That way you can get your question answered by an expert who actually does know what's going on with all the things with student loans. All right, so Betsy, this forgiveness that we heard about from yesterday, this is automatic. For folks who got that email, they don't have to do anything.
That's exactly right. The only thing they have to do right now is what I like to say is put their patience pants on. They got the letter yesterday. The actual forgiveness won't show up on their account for at least 3 weeks. It could actually be a couple months. So they just need to sit back and wait for those zeros to pop up.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Well, scammers are going to try and trick everyone every time we hear something about student loan forgiveness, emails being sent out. That is just like an opportunity for scammers to go, oh, okay, I can do this again.
That's right. If you get any emails that say they can get you forgiveness for a fee or they promise forgiveness, it's almost certainly a scam. The best thing you can do is to look up your actual loan servicer's phone number on the web and call them directly to ask any questions you might have.
Okay. So many people had asked this question. Why were the loans from these particular borrowers the ones being forgiven versus other loans?
That is a really good question. So what might be really interesting to your viewers is when we think about student loan borrowers who struggle with their debt or who are likely to default on their debt, it's not the people that owe six figures in loans. It's the people that owe very small amounts. And the reason for that is the reason they only borrowed a very small amount is because they likely had to withdraw from school. So these people have debt and no degree. So what the Biden administration is doing is they're acknowledging that, and they're saying, listen, if you borrowed less than $12,000 and your income has not allowed you to pay that off within 10 years, you're very likely struggling, and we want to provide that relief for you. So that's why that sort of threshold is what it is.
All right. And so this student loan forgiveness for borrowers like this with the SAVE plan, this isn't the first time that's been done, and it's not going to be the last time that we're going to see this.
No, absolutely not. So the SAVE plan, which was approved through final regulation last summer, it has a few forgiveness components baked into it. One of which is if you only ever borrowed the $12,000 or less and you're on the SAVE plan for 10 years, then they'll forgive the difference. For the people that borrowed more than that, if you're unable to repay it under the SAVE plan within 20 or 25 years, they will still forgive the balance at that point.
Okay, let's talk about just the 101. How does the SAVE plan work? Because I'm sure a lot of people are like, well, if their debt was forgiven, I'd like my debt forgiven. Maybe I need to get on this plan.
Yeah, so the SAVE plan is one of several what we call income-driven repayment plans, which means that your payment amount is going to be based exclusively on your income. If you're married and you file your taxes as married, also your spouse's income, and your family size in the state you live in. So what they do is they look at your adjusted gross income, they subtract an amount from that based on your family size, and then they calculate your payment based on that amount. And it's not going to be any more than 10% of what that final amount is.
And then if you do get on the SAVE plan, doesn't it help you with the interest?
It can. So, if your income is really low, so for example, for a single person with no dependents, if their income's below around $33,000, you could end up with a $0 payment on the SAVE plan. What's nice about this plan, as compared to the other income-driven plans, is any interest that accrues per month that's more than what your calculated SAVE payment is, they're going to forgive that interest. So, for example, if you have a $0 payment under SAVE, they're going to forgive all the interest that accrues for that month. If you have a $50 payment under SAVE, but you're accruing $100 in interest a month, they're going to forgive that other $50 in interest. So no matter what on the SAVE plan, you know that your balance isn't going to get any bigger.
Okay, gotcha. And so if people are wondering, should I do that? The one-stop shop to go to is the government website.
Yeah, studentaid.gov. There's a great tool on that website called the Loan Simulator tool, and you can just plug in your information, and it'll show you what your payment would be on the SAVE plan, but also what your payment would be on the other repayment plans that are available to federal student loan borrowers. There's no one size fits all when it comes to strategies for student loan repayment.
We had a question from someone who said, why do loan companies switch so often, and how do I find out who has my loan right now?
It's true. There's been a lot of servicer transfers over the last couple of years. Many of them are due to the fact that some of the servicers left the business. They just didn't find it, either they were changing their strategies or they didn't find it, the cost benefit analysis wasn't there. But thankfully, if you log into studentaid.gov, you'll be able to see who holds all of your federal loans. If you have private loans, the best way to see who's currently holding them is to check your credit report.
The first question that we have in the queue is, I've been paying in for 15 years, so why isn't my loan forgiven?
Well, it could be that you initially borrowed more than the $12,000. Remember, this action they took yesterday is only for people that only ever borrowed $12,000 or less. If you borrowed more than that, then your forgiveness time frame is going to be longer. Also, you're not going to get this benefit at all unless you're enrolled in the SAVE plan.
Okay, so you have to be enrolled in the SAVE plan, and you had to originally only take that $12,000. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We've got a bunch of your questions. We want you to get your questions answered, so you can text it in 336-379-5775. We'll be right back.